Okay, let's continue. This is the second part. So if you look at the figure here, usually when it has different surfaces, it's always talking about pressure, whether it's the highest or the lowest. So looking at this diagram, students often confuse, does it mean that the surface is staying like this, or is it going to be on the ground? So what it mean by A, B, C, D here, which mean that right now D is on the ground. So when you turn things around, then the next one will be B, the next one will be C, and the next one will be A. And if you look, the one with the lowest surface area should be A. Therefore, A should have the highest pressure. The lower the surface area, the higher the pressure. For example, if you try to use a knife to cut a paper, the thinner the blade of the knife, the sharper it is. But if you're using a thick blade, it will be blunt. So that's the application of pressure. Okay. Next one, how to see living things that are in drain water. So drain water, usually you cannot see anything, or basically anything inside water or the seawater, you cannot see anything unless you put them under microscope. Now there are two different microscopes being mentioned here. Now scanning electron microscope is not readily available. It's available in some university and hospital for its application, but generally we're using light microscope that is readily available in the lab, or you can purchase one as well. Using magnifying glass is not enough. It's too the microorganism would be too small to be seen using magnifying glass, and telescope is used to see this planet or stars on space. So that one is definitely out. Therefore, the answer here is light microscope. Next one, which one is found in all plants and animal cells? Now there are three things that you can find in all cell in general, which is you can find cytoplasm, you can find nucleus, and the other one is cell membrane. Now, looking at these two choices, usually students are confused. They thought, that, oh, maybe it's just a mistake in the exam paper. No, in this case, you have to remember nucleus is not present in one specialized animal cell, which is red blood cell. Why does why is nucleus not present in a blood cell? So that the red blood cell can have more oxygen. So please take note, the only thing that is present in all is actually cytoplasm and cell membrane. You can think of cytoplasm as the body and cell membrane as the skin. Right? Let's go. Next one, how to use a light microscope. So this one we have done during practical. In general, they don't really ask this type of question a lot, but please take note that when you want to do uh, observation of microorganism or anything on the slide, first of all, you need to adjust the light source. In this case, you adjust the mirror. It can also be light that is embedded into the microscope. You just have to turn on the power. After that, once you adjust the mirror, you need to then you place the slide on the stage. Okay, yeah, it's correct. So X, then you place slide, and after that, you turn the high power lens, small knob. Okay, this is a bit tricky. So high power lens to get a sharp image, and turn small adjustment knob to obtain a clear image. That is actually very confusing. So the next one should be use the large knob. Use large knob first. Why you need to when you use the large knob, it will move the stage up and down. This will move the specimen on the slide closer to the lens. And when you use large knob, you will get a clear image. So L there is for large knob. And after you get clear image, you will increase the magnification into slightly higher one, and then you adjust using small knob. And then why you want to adjust using small knob? You want to get sharper image. Okay, so in here the Z and W information is actually not accurate. So please take note, this is the accurate one. So the L in large knob is to get clear image. The S in the small knob is to get sharper image. S and S, L and L. And then in the end, you want to get the sharpest image, which is using the small knob. So the last one should be W here. X, Y. See, this is not correct. All right, here's the diagram of microscope. So the one on top here is what you call as the eyepiece. So on top of the eyepiece, you can see there's one lens there, and that lens has magnification of 10s, which means that if you put an object directly below this object, because you can take this out, if you put object directly on the eyepiece, you will be able to magnify it 10 times like magnifying glass. Then you have the objective lens here. So for objective lens, you can see that there are three different lenses because there are three different magnification from 4 to 10 to 40. What does this mean? It means that here the magnification is 10, and if you put lens here to be the 4, it means that you magnify the object by 4 times 10, 40 times. If you put here 10, then you will magnify the object by 10 times 10, which is 100 times. And if you put 40, then 40 times 10, it will be 400 times magnification, which is the highest in a light microscope. Then B here you have, not sure actually that one, because you can see here there are different knobs. Just look at the size of the knob. But B is not clear. But this one, if you look at it, it's slightly tricky actually. Yeah? So D is mirror or a light source. So this one, how to get the sharper image, we're looking for the small knob. So I guess this one is the small knob because, okay, that one is the small knob. And like I said, S referred to sharper image. Get sharper image. And therefore, this one on top here should be large knob. Get clear image. Okay. And here, the thing here is called stage. And stage is used to hold the specimen on the slide with a clip. So here's the clip to hold the specimen together. All right, next one. This is how you prepare a slide. When you prepare a slide, always put a sample first. After you put the sample on the glass slide, make sure it's at the center. You add coloring. In this case, it's iodine or methylene blue. It depends on the specimen that you're using. Iodine will make the specimen yellow. Methylene blue will make the specimen slightly bluish purple. After you put the specimen in, you hold the cover slip using a mounted needle, and then you will let it go, and then the slide will mount itself. The cover slip will mount itself onto the slide, making the specimen ready to be observed. Okay, next one. This one is talking about plant cell, and the question is asking which one is not present in animal cell. You should know that in plant cell, there are three things that is present. Number one, there is one large vacuole, and then there is this tiny stuff which is green in color. That one is chloroplast, used to photosynthesis, used to trap lights for photosynthesis, and these eggs on the outside should be the cell wall. So these are the three things not present in animal cell and can be found in plant cell. Next one. When I examine a biology specimen under microscope, the objective lens. So you can see here, they're asking me what's the highest magnification. Here he has 40, and in the eyepiece there is 10. So altogether it is 40 times 10, which is 400. So 160 doesn't exist. 100 is times by tens. If you're using 10 by 10, you will get 100. And if you're using times 4, and then the eyepiece times 10, you'll get 40. C doesn't exist. Next one, food is needed to supply our body with energy. What type of energy is present in food? So when we're talking about energy, there are different kind of energy. And when we're talking about food or battery or anything that can produce energy. It is called chemical potential energy. It means that the energy is being stored. Now, sometimes they will say stored energy. This is a term we use in primary school. You don't use this term anymore in secondary school or a higher level. So please do not use this term anymore. Okay, we will we use chemical energy instead. Next one. So here's a common diagram, one of the common exam diagram where it shows hydroelectric power station. So in here, you can see that the water is moving from the top and then it will go down to the turbine. And it goes to the turbine, it will cause the generator to produce electricity. So the diagram will always be the same. It will always start with the energy on top, which is gravitational potential energy, which means that the energy is the highest here. And then, as the gravitational potential energy is moving, it will be converted into kinetic energy. You can see that the arrow there. So the arrow represents movement, and as it's moving, it will go to the turbine, which is connected to the generator, and this one will convert kinetic energy generator connected to turbine, convert kinetic energy to electrical energy. Don't ever say that the turbine is the one that convert kinetic to electrical. No, turbine is just a fan that turn. The generator is the one that create electrical energy, and that one will go out to the cable, transferring electric current to be used elsewhere. Okay, and then type energy and source of energy is different. Sources is where you get your energy from, and it can be renewable or non-renewable. So biomass is a renewable energy, and hydrogen fuel cell is a renewable energy. We're gonna cover that in later question. Coal, oil, and gas are non-renewable energy, including nuclear as well. Nuclear is alternative source of energy that is being used, but it is still non-renewable. Why we say alternative? It's because that energy is available, but we don't readily use it. It's just an alternative. Currently, we're still utilizing oil and gas mostly. Okay, hydroelectrical, solar, all of those are alternative energy as well, but they are renewable source of energy. All right, one of the favorite exam question, they're asking you what is the energy change or energy conversion. So this one will be different from one to another. So you just have to pay attention to the diagram. So here you can see the drum being hit, and then it create energy for the particle to make sound. The faster you hit the drum, the more energy it produces. Therefore, when you hit the drum, you actually create kinetic energy, and then that kinetic energy change to sound energy, which is B. Okay, next one. Just now we mentioned about biomass. So biomass means living thing. Mass mean the part of the living things. In this case, it means that dead plant, dead animal, their waste, and then raw garbage. Raw garbage mean the food waste that you don't eat or dead plants from agriculture. You can actually use all those, combine it with bacteria to be decomposed, and it will produce gas called biogas or methane actually, and that biogas will be used to produce energy. Next one, what is the SI unit of energy? So there are several SI unit here for our revision. So unit for energy is joule. If we don't use that unit, it can also be Newton, uh, Newton meter, nm. Thus, energy is similar to work done, and work done is equal to force times distance, and force is Newton, distance is meter. Okay, so Newton is the unit for force, ohm is the unit for resistance, and watt is the unit for power, which is no longer in your syllabus. And next question here, it's asking how much work done, calculate the work done by Anita. So always highlight the number because this number can be tricky. And most students they will just calculate it. As always, I advise you to write down the formula. Work done is equal to force times distance. The reason why I asked you to write down the formula is because force, the unit is Newton, so that one is correct, and the distance is actually in meter. Okay, times meter, but that one is in centimeter. So you have to convert 50 centimeter to meter. When you convert 50 centimeter to meter, which means you have to divide it by 100, 1, 2, then you get 0.5 meter. Okay, if you're not sure, use calculator because 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. That's why you have to divide this by 100. So 10 times 0.5. In the end, you get 5 joules or 5 Newton meter. 5 Newton meter. How do you get Nm? You cannot change this to numerical value, so you just leave the letter N, you leave the letter M. Okay, this can appear in section B as well, so please take note. Next one is a different calculation. So in this case, you can see that it says he is carrying 100 Newton and 12 meter and his body weight is 550 Newton. So there's three different number here. As a person is going up, what happens is that gravity will keep pushing the person down. So this gravity will affect both his body and the Baraslaila. Now, if it doesn't affect your body, you can go up unlimited. You can easily go to Everest if you don't carry anything, which is not true. Which means that you need to add these two force and then you divide by this one. So let's just write down the formula first. Work done equal to force times distance. And then work done, the force here, you have to add those two number up, 100 Newton plus 600, 550 Newton times the distance, which is 12 meter. So in the end, you will get 650 Newton times 12 meter. And if you use your calculator, let's just use calculator here. 650 times by 12, your answer should be 7,800 joules. So you need 7,800 joules or 7,800 energy to make sure you can go up to this one. Now, uh, let's see. Let's just continue first. And don't forget, sometimes they will just write this one as 10 kg rather than giving you Newton. So please take note, if it gives you in kg, you have to convert kg to Newton first. How to convert it? We are on Earth. It depends on the location. And on Earth, the gravity is 10 Newton. So which means that every 1 kilogram of mass, your body will be affected by 10 Newton. So if you're carrying 10 kilogram, the final weight will be 100 Newton. So please take note of that if it come out. Next one. So this one is another application of force. You can see here force being applied in the same direction here. And then 5 plus 10 is 15, which means going toward here is 15 Newton. And then here 10 Newton going there, 5 Newton going backward friction, which means altogether here it is 5 Newton going towards that direction. And here 15 Newton going towards that direction, which means that all the object will go towards this direction. So here you can see a person struggling, pushing an object on the floor, and then anytime you see an object on the surface, And anytime it's moving on the opposite direction, it is always the same thing, which is friction. Friction is a force that opposes movement. Now, please do not forget as well, friction occur between two surfaces. And if a lot of friction occur, friction can lead to wear and tear. Like your shoes, eventually it become your shoe or your clothes. There is hole here and there is because of wear and tear. Also, it can create heat. For example, you can rub your hand, it create heat. Those are friction. Just a reminder if it ever come out in exam. Next one, this one is a critical thinking. It's asking you, there are four stage in weightlifting and it's asking where there is no work done. So you have to look for the word stationary. Stationary mean not doing anything. Kenapa pulang Ani in the another work done, sir? Sedangkan he's holding the weight up. It's because like this. You have to use the formula work done equal to force time distance. And it doesn't matter how much is the weight. Let's say it's 100 Newton, and then if the distance is 0 meter because it's staying still, in the end the work done will be 0 Newton meter as well. The rest, you can see that it's lifted from floor to thigh, it's lifted from shoulder to up, it's lifted from thigh to shoulder. So all of this one has distance, can be 1 meter here, 1 meter here, 1 meter here. Anything that involves distance will result to work done. Okay, next one. So this one is a graph question, which is about force as well. This one is just in case you don't remember, you just have to pay attention. Yeah. What is the load? If the spring is 4 centimeter, I told you guys already. Find where is 4 centimeter. In this case, 4 centimeter is here. Then make a line until the line touches the graph. Use ruler. This one is not accurate. And then just pull the line down, and you will get the answer here, which is 10 Newton. And this one is another tricky one. So it says which position X, Y, and Z would require the greatest effort to close the door. So once again, this one is actually work done equal to force time distance. You have to think it like this. Force will be the same. It's the same person using the same amount of energy, 10 Newton, and then you have to look at the distance where he pushed it. If you use X, the distance can be from his hand to X is about maybe 1. From his hand to Y is 5 times more. From his hand to Z is very far. Therefore, that the further the distance, the more the energy. So in this case, the furthest one is Z. So he will use the most energy at Z. Okay, hope it makes sense. Now it's pressure. So pressure is different from uh, work done. So pressure is talking about how much force is being applied to the surface. In this, most of the time, the surface will be the ground, but it can also be your skin or anything. For example, if you push a pen on your hand, you're applying pressure. If you push this block of wood on your body, you're applying pressure, and the pressure will be felt on this surface area. And like I mentioned previously, if you replace this block of wood with knife, the thinner the knife, the sharper will it be. The thicker the knife, if the knife is as thick as this block of wood, it will not be able to cut anything. It will be just like a piece of metal. And same like this wood, if you make this wood very, very thin, it can still slice you. Okay, because the lower the surface area, the higher the pressure. So in here, the pressure between the two, position 2 should have higher pressure because the area is smaller, so the pressure will be different, but both of them are still affected by gravity, and both of them are the same size, therefore their weight should be the same, their force will always be the same. The only time the pressure change will be when the surface is changed. Next one here, again, the question will be asking you based on the surface. If you look at these two surface, this one has a very small surface area. You can already imagine it. If this small area is being stabbed on your body, you will feel the pain. But this one will be less painful because the force are being spread out evenly. So when this force are spread out evenly, the pressure will become less. But here, the pressure will be focusing on this one specific area. Okay, so just don't forget, the lower the surface area, the higher the pressure. Okay, so what about the calculation? Okay, let's go there. So here is one example of calculation. Sometimes they give you a lot of number, but you have to focus only on the surface area and the force. So surface area is at the bottom, and that surface area is in the shape of rectangle. And then when you apply pressure, it means that you apply force. Okay, let's just write down in full. You apply force over certain area. The force is not applied on the sideways, it's just applied at the very bottom here. That will lead to pressure. So in this case, the force is mentioned to be 15 Newton, and the area you have to take note of the shape. In this case, the shape is rectangle, length times breadth, which is 10 times 5. 10 times 5, I'll just write it down here first. 10 times 5. And then what unit is centimeter and centimeter. Centimeter times centimeter, you get square centimeter. Therefore, you get 15 divided by Newton divided by 50 square centimeter. If you look at the choice here, uh, and not 15, 25. So you can see here, it is 25 divided by 50, it 25. Okay, this one, if you want to put it straight like this, it will be 25 divided by 10 times 5, which is the first one there, A. Okay, next one is the same question. You can calculate every single one, but if you pay attention to the force, all of it are the same: 50 newton, 50 newton, 50 newton, 50 newton. So all you need to do now is just look at the area, find the smallest one. Now, I'm not sure how tricky the exam can be. uh, if you want to be safe, always calculate the whole surface area at the bottom. So in this case, 2 times 4, which is 8. Just write it down, 8 centimeter square. And then 2 times 2 is 4 centimeter square. 6 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18 centimeter square. And the last one, 3 times 3 is 9 centimeters square. So by looking at all of this, you can see that the load surface area is 4. Even by looking at the diagram, it's quite obvious. And therefore, the one with the highest pressure is this one. What about the one with the lowest pressure? It's the one with the highest surface area. You can also see from the diagram, this one has the largest surface area. Okay, so if someone throw between these two on you, you will feel much more pain with this one because it has higher surface area. I mean, higher pressure because it has lower surface area. Lower pressure because higher surface area. Next one is about gas. Okay, so this is a quick recall. 78% of gas in the air is nitrogen. The reason why nitrogen is a lot because it is unreactive. Therefore, if you want to identify nitrogen, it's not easy because there is no reaction or there is no specific way to identify it. One percent variable is water vapor variable because it depends on the liquid location. If you're close to area with a lot of water, the amount of water vapor will be higher due to evaporation. If you're closer to an area like on in the city, there will be less water vapor. That's why it says variable here. 0.03% is carbon dioxide and 21% is oxygen. So please take note of this. If it come up in exam, you're lucky because you watched this video. Okay, and then they're asking you what is the test for each one. So gas P is water vapor, and to test for water vapor, you use cobalt chloride vapor. And remember, I told you black pink, blue pink in this case. Then gas Q is carbon dioxide. When we talk about carbon dioxide, we always use lime water, and the lime water will produce white precipitate. Here it mentioned chalky, chalky like a white powder, but it's better to always use the term white precipitate. Precipitate mean uh, white substance in a way. Precipitate, yeah. And then gas R is oxygen, therefore gas R will relight a glowing spleen. Precipitate. Okay, then relight a glowing spleen. And there's one more gas that you should be familiar by now. It is hydrogen. When you use a burning spleen, it will produce pop sound. Let's see if we will go to that question later on. Next one, 28, the same type of question, identifying. So I'm gonna go. So here, I'm just gonna pass it as long as you understand. Next one is about photosynthesis. You can see here there's aquatic plant, and this aquatic plant produce bubble of gas. Now, please be reminded that photosynthesis is a process where green plant uses carbon dioxide and water. So, unlike human, plant uses carbon dioxide and water to make food, and in the end, they will produce oxygen plus glucose, which is their sugar, which is their energy. For human, we use respiration. I mean, plant produce respiration as well, but not as much as other living thing. So, in respiration, you use oxygen plus food, which is mostly glucose. And then what happens is that you produce carbon dioxide that you breathe out, and carbon dioxide and energy. So that's how you get energy there. Okay, in this question, the gas collected in the test tube will be, so as I said, photosynthesis will produce oxygen. Therefore, oxygen will relight a glowing spleen. Turn lime water milk is carbon dioxide. Produce what some with burning spleen is hydrogen. Cobalt pepper blue to pink is water vapor. So same type of question, different way. The question is asking why is the water level going down? So as you see here, photosynthesis use water. As long as there is sunlight that allow the plant to photosynthesize, the water will become less and less and less and less. And then why there's a layer of oil there, sir? The layer of oil, uh, the layer of oil actually prevent the water here from evaporating, prevent evaporation. So this one is so that you don't choose A as the answer, because the layer of oil will prevent evaporation from occur. Kenapa pulang, sir? Why evaporation will not occur with the layer of oil? So what happened is that the layer of oil here will prevent the surface, the water on the surface, from going up. Because of the different density and the properties of oil and water, it will not allow the water to just become water vapor and escape. So that will not happen. Okay, next one. Okay, this one is condition and material for photosynthesis. Like the formula I showed you above, they need carbon dioxide and water, and you need your chloroplast and light. Light can be from anywhere. It doesn't have to be sunlight. It can be artificial light. You can just use a torchlight. As long as there's torchlight and as long as the leaf is green, and as long as you provide the plant with carbon dioxide and water, it should be able to grow properly. Okay, again, this one is a plant. Which part of the plant does this cell come from? So anytime you see chloroplast, it will always be from the leaves. So do all plant cells have chloroplast? No, it depends. on stem or on in the stem and in roots, which is underground, there is no chloroplast. In stem, sometimes there is. It depends on the stem, what color. If it's green, sometimes there's chloroplast. So, sir, how do I identify the cell is plant cell? So, plant cells still have two things. One, large vacuole, and second one, it also need to have cell wall. Without these two things, it will not be a plant cell. So it's mandatory plant cell at least have one large vacuole and cell wall. Chloroplasts are only found in the leaf. Okay. Sir, is it possible to have chloroplasts? Yep, it could. If somehow the plant is adapted and specialized, it might have chloroplasts. Okay. Next one is about matter. Now we're at question 75. Let's continue for a bit more. So anytime you see a predictable like this one, predictable, it is always element. Okay, not compound, not mixture, and then it says here metal and non-metal. So please take note that your predictable can be divided into two, metal and non-metal. So the non-metal part, I believe, is this side here. Check your notes or check your textbook to just double confirm. And please take note of the differences between metal and non-metal. This doesn't come out in exam as often, but don't be surprised if it come out in exam because it's something that you have learned. They might ask you the difference, what is metal versus non-metal. The simple one is metal is shiny, metal is malleable. Malleable means that you can you can hammer it until it become different shape, and then it has high melting and boiling point, which means that in order to transform a metal become a liquid, you have to heat them at a very high temperature. While non-metal, you can easily see them in the form of gases or liquid. Metal are mostly solid. Liquid are mostly in the form of liquid or gas, and they are not shiny, they are not malleable, and they do not have high melting and boiling point, which means that you can easily transform them from liquid to gas at any time. Okay, this is a quick one for me. Okay, this one is a very common exam question. They will ask you to identify whether it's gas, solid, liquid, or whether it is compound mixture or a compound mixture or element. As I told you many times before, if you see one color or one shape, so this one is one color, one shape. That one is very obvious. This one, you might say, sir, ada dua puting itu, but it still is one color. So one color means it's one thing. So these two are element. Only when it have two different color like this one, it is a compound, and then they are combined together. What does combined together mean? They are stuck together. Okay, and here you can see two different color, black and white, but they are not stuck together. They are not combined together. So when they are not combined together, they are mixture. So mixtures mean it have different colors, but not combined or not chemically combined. Okay, they're just mixed, literally mixed like that. Okay. This one is a different question again. It's asking you which one is two element. Pay attention to the color first. You can see here this is one color, this is one color. So those are two elements. This one combined together, it is compound. This is combined together, it's a compound, and this one is element, which means this thing is a mixture of a compound and element. And the one at the end, you have one combined together, one element as well. So that one is a mixture as well. So this one is, I'll just write it down, mixture of compound and element for the first part. So this one you can see It is a compound only. This one you can see two mixture of two element, and then the one at the end is mixture of element and compound. So, kadang confused was sir. That's why if you look at me, I always write down what I see. If you let your brain process the thing non-stop, your brain will be tired. Always write the thing you know down. It will make your life easier. Okay, and then again the same question. This one you can see its element. You can see this one two color compound, and you can see here two different color. That one is a mixture of element of two elements. If you want to be specific, not two, three elements. Why three? So you can see here. There's one color here. There is one color and different shape here, and then this one is a different one again. Okay, next one. Which one contain three element? Oh, this one is a tricky question. So, what you do is you do elimination. Water, you know, is H2O, so that one is two. Sodium and chloride is two different thing. Nitrogen and oxide is two different thing. Calcium, carbon, and ATE is three different thing. So ATE, this one is more towards chemistry. You're gonna learn this one in more detail in upper secondary. So the word ATE refer to oxygen. So here you have three different elements combined together. Oh, possible sir, tiga elemen jadi compound. Yes, it can be four element, it could be more. It depends on the chemical formula. That one you learn in chemistry or combined science. Okay, next question. Properties of compound or mixture and so on. So compound, which one is correct? So compound have chemical reaction. That one is true. Compound can be broken down by physical method. That one is not true. Anything about compound must be by chemical only. Yang physical, yang physical is mixture. You can separate them uh, simply by separation technique. Constituent present are in variable amount. That one is also in mixture. For example, water, it doesn't matter the amount. The formula will always be H2O. So as a compound, it is H2O. It's not H2O2 or H3O or H4O, H10O. No, it's always going to be H2O. That's what it means by constituent are present in fixed amount. No new product are formed from the reaction. Mixture, there's no new product, you're just mixing it. But for compound, you have new product. Apa kan sir? Cuma na to. A simple example is you are the product of your mother and your father. So your mother and father is different element, and then you become the new compound. Okay, can you be separated back to your mother and your father? No, you are a compound. There's chemical reaction, and you are the new compound, a new different thing. But if you and your mother and your father are in a house or in a room, there are three of you. So you guys are a mixture of a compound and two different elements. Okay, this is one example. If you don't understand, just ignore it. Okay, and then what happened when combine to form mixture is the same thing like just now. There's no chemical reaction, there's no new substance, there's no heat energy. Therefore, in this one, no chemical reaction. Heat energy means there is chemical reaction. Simple as that. Okay, I think I want to stop there for now before the video crash and I have class. Okay, see you in the part 3.